Welcome back. All right, so back on the main set for right now. Back and forth. I told you guys you're going back and forth. So 4 games to talk about, as there's 10 more games tonight in the National Hockey League. The 4 matinee games. I mean, some unpredictability, sure. If you cheered for a home team, might not have had a great day. All right, so we'll start things off talking about New Jersey and the Montreal Canadiens. So it's Allen versus Montembeault. Shots are one apiece at 2.5 minutes. The teams trade turnovers. Doc has a net drive chance that's defended. A net feed to Bratt gets blocked. The Devils press at 5 minutes. The fans call one. The referee does not. The Habs press. There's a near miss for Josh Anderson. He was frustrated by the end of this one. He was all around the net. The fans call, fans call when that already happened. Habs stuck at one shot for a while. We get a press by Montreal at the half. Matheson has a wrister that's held. That's the second shot on net for Montreal. The shots are 6-2 with 8 minutes left. At 13:43 on a pass from behind the net, Bratt buries one from the slot. Tatar and Hamilton with the assists. It's 1-0 for New Jersey. Devils press with 4.5 minutes left. With 3:08 left, the Devils get a power play. That's killed off. It's 1-0 for the Devils after one. Second period, good forechecking by the Habs. Montreal draws a power play. That's killed off. Carrier to Doc. There's a near miss there. The Habs press at 6 minutes. Josh Anderson's denied and close. The Devils clear. Palat has a one-timer that's blocked as the Devils get some pressure. Shots are 7-2 Montreal at 7 minutes. Newhook fires one wide on a rush. The Habs press with 9 minutes left, and at 12:44, Cotter scores for New Jersey to make it 2-0. Bratt and Hughes with the assists. The Habs press with 2.5 minutes left. Evans has a tip shot that's saved with 8 seconds left. The Habs get a power play. So they're down 2-0 after 2, but they've got a long power play to start the third, and New Jersey scores on it. Just before it's done at 1:58, Jack Hughes scores from Pesce. That actually was at 1:52. Not sure why I wrote 1:58. So 1:52 on that one. So that's Jack Hughes from Brett Pesce to make it a 3-0 score. The Habs press to respond. Shots are 4-0 for Montreal at 6 minutes. And just after the half at 10:09, Luke Hughes with a one-timer that deflects into the net. Myron Nason with the assists. It's 4-0 for New Jersey. This is where I feel like I should point out Montreal had a pretty good game. Just Jake Allen was playing really, really well. The Habs look to respond. We get a power play for Nason, or for the Devils. We get a post for Nason during that power play, and that's killed off. Anderson has a net drive chance that's blocked, and this is almost 3 full home games where Montreal hasn't scored a goal in terms of how many minutes it's been since their last goal at home. At 15.7 seconds left, Owen Beck gets a penalty shot for Montreal. That's saved. So they get shut out 4-0 at home. New Jersey goes to 31-20-6 with the win. Montreal 25-25-5 with the loss. Shots on net 9-8 New Jersey in the first, 14-6 Montreal in the second, 12-7 Montreal in the third. Final shots 34-22 for the Habs. Power plays, both teams 0 for 2. The hits 26-20 for Montreal. Jake Allen, perfect. First time he shut out Montreal, 34 saves for that. Montembeault, 18 saves on 22 shots. All right, next up, Tampa Bay and the Detroit Red Wings. So it's Vasilevsky versus Lyon, and 1:28 in, Brandon Hagel opens the scoring. So Tampa Bay's not messing around this week. Kucherov and Chernak with the assists. Things get pushed in a hole by Vasilevsky. And then at 2:56, Chernak with a floater from the point. He scores this one from Kucherov and McDonough. That ends the night for Lyon. Very early end. Talbot goes into the net. Wings look to respond. The teams trade rushes. The shots are only 3 apiece at 7 minutes. Then at 9:45, a slot shot deflects in. Tarasenko gets the goal. It's his 300th. Seider and DeBrincat with the assists. It's 2-1. The Bolts look to respond, and they do. At 11:49, Point goes glove side on a rush. Gonsalves and Hagel with the assists. It's 3-1 for Tampa. Tampa presses for another. Things get pushed in a hole by Vasilevsky, and at 15:13, another rush chance. And Nick Paul goes 5-hole. It's only the 7th shot on net for Tampa, and it's the 4th goal. Hagel and Chernak with the assist. So Hagel having quite a day. 3:14 left. The Wings go to the power play, and 8 seconds into the power play, they score on it at 16:54. It's Patrick Kane from DeBrincat and Raymond. So it's 4-2 in favor of Tampa Bay after one. I felt like for sure I was going to end up having the full board and having to use a tiny board. Nope. Second period, Tampa Bay presses at 2 minutes. Kucherov can't bury one in close. McDonough has a slapper that's held. We get a power play for Detroit. That's killed off. The Wings press after it's done. They had 8 shots on that power play, and the shots were 12-5 for Detroit with 9.5 minutes left. Things get pushed in a hole by Vasilevsky. It's all Wings at this point. Chernak can't bury one on a prime chance, and then on a turnover, DeBrincat buries one on a net drive at 14:29, makes it a 1-goal game at 4-3. The Wings then press looking to tie it, but it stays 4-3 for Tampa after 2. Third period, early press by Tampa. The Bolts press at 3.5 minutes. And then at 4 minutes and 10 seconds, Duke, in his NHL debut, gets his first NHL goal. Chafee and Perbix with the assists. He had family in attendance as well. So it's a feel-good story in a game where I'm sure Detroit fans don't feel that good about it, but it makes it 5-3. Moritz Seider then breaks up a 2-on-1. Shots are 5-4 Tampa at 7.5 minutes. DeBrincat fires one wide on a net drive. The Wings press with 7 minutes left. The goalie pull happens with 4 minutes left. And at 17:57, Hagel hits the empty net. Kucherov and McDonough with the assists. There's some unhappiness at the horn between these two teams, but Tampa Bay with a huge win, 6-3. They had a big week. They go to 30-24-4 with the win. Detroit 28-22-5 with the loss. Shots on net favored Detroit the whole way through, 10-7 in the first, 19-5 in the second, and 8-6 in the third. Final shots 37-18 for Detroit. Power plays, Tampa Bay didn't have any. Detroit goes 1 for 2. The hits 32-28 for Detroit. Vasilevsky, 34 saves on 37 shots. Lions saved 1 out of 3, and then Talbot saved 11 out of 14. So the goaltending kind of lets Detroit down, but the defense kind of let Detroit down, and Tampa Bay, suddenly they're in the driver's seat. A week ago, there was, maybe they don't make the playoffs now, so they're going to make the playoffs. All right, Utah and Carolina. The VCR up there, that's an 80s magnet. Came with all the 80s stickers I got. And all the other 80s magnets were too big and wouldn't have fit. So there you go. So it's Vejmelka versus Kochetkov. Early jump for Carolina. The Canes press at 2 minutes. Shots are 3-0 Carolina at 3 minutes. Aho's denied as the Canes get some pressure. Utah then presses at 6 minutes. Jarvis has a rush chance. That's blocked. And then at 10:09 on a 2-on-1 rush, Jalen Chatfield scores. Stahl and Svechnikov with the assist. So it's 1-0 for Carolina. Shots are 9-4 Carolina with 8.5 minutes left. Utah presses with 5 minutes left. We get a power play for Utah, and they score on it. Doan roofs one from the right circle at 17:35. Michelli and Carconi with the assists, so it's a 1-1 tie. 1:44 left. The Canes get a power play, so that runs till the end of that first period, into the start of the second, and Utah finishes the kill. Canes press at 2.5 minutes. Shots are 2 apiece 4 minutes into the period. Robinson has a rush chance that's saved. We get a power play for Carolina, and they score on it. Jarvis from Burns and Svechnikov at 6:25. Utah calls a timeout to decide whether or not they're going to challenge that goal. Ultimately, they decide not to, but it means they've burned their timeout. Keller has a wraparound chance that's saved. Martinuk then has a net feed that's blocked. The Canes press at 8 minutes, and then on a turnover, Sebastian Aho scores at 8:35 to make it a 3-1 lead for Carolina. But then on a turnover breakaway, Clayton Keller makes it a goal closer at 10:19. So unassisted goals exchanged between these teams. Utah presses with 8.5 minutes left. We get a power play for the Utah Hockey Club, and Carolina scores on it. Aho goes around Vejmelka into the net, shorthanded goal. Jarvis and Chatfield with the assists at 14-14, makes the score 4-2 in favor of the Carolina Hurricanes. The Canes then finish the kill, which is really important. Schmaltz with a net drive chance that's blocked. Utah presses in the final minute, and at 19:15 on a fast break, because you turn it over, it's a fast break the other way with Carolina. Jarvis scores from Jackson Blake, and that makes it 5-2 for Carolina after 2. Third period, shots are 4-2 for Utah, only 2 minutes in. Robinson has a rush chance that's defended. We get a post for Stenlund on a rush. Utah presses at 6 minutes. We get a power play for the Utah Hockey Club. That's killed off. Slavin has a rush chance that's saved. Utah presses with 6.5 minutes left. We get a power play for Utah. That becomes 5-on-3 for 1 minute and 16 seconds. And that's too long. So on the 5-on-3, Utah scores. Keller from Sergachev and Gunther at 16:11. So then you pull the goaltender looking to get closer, and Martinuk hits the empty net from Aho and Jarvis at 17:16. Before the game is done, Carolina adds another. Roslovic from Blake and Yaska at 18:34. Roslovic bearing a rebound there for what I believe is his 19th of the season. Carolina with a big statement victory, 7-3 win over Utah. They go to 33-19-4 with the win. Utah 23-23-9 with the loss. Utah plays again tomorrow in Washington. Shots on net, 16-8 Carolina in the first, 12-11 Carolina in the second, 21-10 for Utah in the third. They did everything they could in the third. Final shots, 40-38 for Utah. Power plays, Utah 2 for 5, Carolina 1 for 2. The hits, 21-16 Utah. Vejmelka saves 31 out of 37. Kochetkov, good night for Kochetkov. 37 saves, on 40 shots. All right, last game to review for now, Vegas in Boston against the Bruins. So it's Samsonov versus Swayman. Olofsson takes a puck up high. He exits. He did not return to the game. Then at 3:17 on a Hanifin turnover. Now, what was the first shot of the game for Boston? Not that Samsonov had a chance, but Marchand scores from Zadorov. So it's 1-0 for Boston. Then there's a shoulder save on Howden. The rebound's cleared. Vegas presses at 8 minutes. Shots are 4-3 for the Golden Knights. 8.5 minutes into the game. Pastrnak beats out an icing. Samsonov holds a Pastrnak rush chance. Stone then has a slot shot that saved. The Bruins rush. Things get punchy in front of the benches. And then at 13:49, Boston had been pressing. Vegas tries to clear. They give it to Zadorov. Zadorov puts it in the net past a screen. And so at 13:49, it becomes 2-0 for the Boston Bruins. We then get a power play for Vegas. And after a failed clear, Vegas would make him pay. At 15:09, it's Stone from Theodore and Saad. So Brandon Saad on the board, and it's a 2-1 lead for Boston. 3:32 left. Vegas goes back to the power play. That's killed off. Pastrnak to Geekie. There's a near miss there. It's 2-1 Boston after 1. Second period. Olofsson won't return is what's announced here. Lavoie has a rush chance that's defended, but the shots are 4-0 Vegas at 4.5 minutes. Pietrangelo has a one-timer that's held. The Bruins draw a power play. Lindholm couldn't bury one during that. That power play gets killed off. I believe it had 3 shots altogether. Vegas presses after finishing the kill. The shots are 8-5 for Vegas with 9 minutes left. Vegas presses with 8.5 minutes left. Things get pushy on a hold by Swayman. Hertl has a net drive chance that's held. It's all Vegas. And then Samsonov turns the puck over, and Geekie scores from Pastrnak at 15:07. So Boston restores the 2-goal lead in a period that had been dominated by the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas presses with a minute and a half left, and eventually they score at 19:26 White Cloud. It trickles through Swayman. You'd want that one back. It's a White Cloud from Hanifin and Howden, and it makes it a 3-2 game for Boston after 2 periods of play. Third period, early press by Boston, but they're kept to the outside. Vegas presses at 2 minutes. Eventually, at 4:54, Dorofeev buries a cross-ice pass. Theodore with the pass there and the assist on the play. It's a 3-3 tie. Shots are 4-2 for Vegas at 7 minutes. Bruins press at 8 minutes. Boston would score. However, goalie interference. It was pretty clear it was goalie interference. So the review confirms that. Zaka's denied on a net drive then with 3:10 left. Vegas gets a power play. They scored on it. Was it goalie interference? Yes. The challenge takes that goal off the board, but with 1 second left in that power play at 18:50, Hertl restores that lead for Vegas. Eichel and Stone with the assists, making it 4-3. They would pull the goaltender with Boston, and then with 50.4 seconds left, Vegas gets a power play, which closes out the game. Vegas wins 4-3. They go to 33-17-6 with the win. Boston 27-24-6. And so Boston loses out on a chance to potentially jump above the playoff line today. Shots on net, 12-11 Boston in the first, 16-6 Vegas in the second, 11-6 Vegas in the third. Final shots, 38-24 for the Golden Knights. Power plays, Vegas 2 for 4. Boston 0 for 1. The hits, 20-6 for Boston. Samsonov saves 21 out of 24. And Swayman, 34 saves on 38 shots. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.